to my channel Knowledge Base, and this is the third lecture of the lecture series for web full stack web development. In this lecture video, we're going to see how we can create list and table and the variations of list and also table. Let's start uh, with list. So list tag, we have two types of list: order list and unordered list. What is unordered list? In this list we will use symbol for bulleting, and in the case of ordered list we will use different types of number like decimal number or Roman number or letters like that. So uh, in unordered list is represented by the tag un, and order list represented by OA. Now in this example you can see we have first created one simple unordered list, so with the name of different fruits. Now when you execute in the browser you will see the list like this. So this bulleted the default, which is called this type. So if we don't want these default types of bullets, then we can change also with the help of attribute type. Okay, so we have to write type and we have to provide the value for the type. In the circle we'll get some hollow circle. In the text everything is filled, but in the case of circle this is hollow. So this kind of output we will get. And if I type the square value for the type attribute, I will get these types of symbols. So there are different types of bullet symbols available under UN. For the order list, for the same set of examples, set of apples, we also created for another list. The default bullet comes in decimal numbers. If I want to change the default bullets, so I have to provide a value. Suppose I wanted Romans, so I have to provide a value like I. So all the bullets will come in Roman numbers. Okay, it will follow the sequence. If I want this bullet in terms of letter, then I have to provide the value for the type is A. If I provide capital A, then the bullet will come capital A. If I provide small a, then bullet will come in small a. So you can see these bullets are following the sequence A, B, C, D, E, F like that. Now in case of decimal number, we can also provide another information called start. Where to start? It is not applicable to other type of bullets. It is only applicable to decimal numbers. So if I provide start 4, then the list will start from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is very useful when we don't want to put all the list together in a text, and in different places we will place the different section of the list, but we need to follow the same sequence because we wanted to show that it is part of the same list. So in that case we can start with different sequence number in different section of the document. So in that respect it is very useful. So this is all about list. So if I come about table, then table, this is simple structure of the table. So each row is represented with help of another tag called tr. Tr is a short form of table row. So for each row I have to use this tr, and for each row and for each column I have to use td. Td represent table division. So for each row and each column I have to create all this td. So this is the basic structure of any table. Now table support different types of attributes like border, column span, row span. Border means some outline will be there for each cell of the table. And what is the column span? Sometimes you need to merge consecutive two columns to create some customized table. Okay, and also sometimes you need to merge rows. So in that respect, column span and column row span will help us to merge rows and columns respectively. So this is a basic structure of any table. So it starts with table tag and start and end with table tag. In between, I can create all the rows of the table. So let's suppose I want to include table header also. So table header is represented with the tag th. So all the table header should be included in the first row. So what is the difference between th and td? If I include th, then all the letters will come as a bold letter. Okay. So this is the first row represent the table header. Second row, actually we will start to include the data. So we are providing the data, ID, name and age, like that. So in this way I can create as many as rows I want. So in this example I have created only 2 rows for the data and 1 row for the head. Okay, so this is a standard approach. For each row I have to use tr like this, and for each column I have to use either for table header I have to use th for each column, and for the data I have to use td for each column. So I have to take care of all these rows because I have to maintain the symmetry of the table. So I have started with 3 columns in the first row, so I cannot include 2 columns in the second row. I have to maintain the symmetry. So that's why you need to very careful where we are actually adding columns and rows in the table. And it is also very useful to consider that when we use the column span, row span, we have to calculate everything very carefully, so that even if we merge the cells, then also we will maintain the symmetry of the table. So this is regarding some example of column span and row span. Now we see in this table we have actually 4 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. The first row and all the columns of the first row are separate, the individual. From the second row we have started to merge. So from second row to fifth row all are merged for the first column, and for the first row third column to fourth column are merged. Now for the third row second column and third column are merged, and for the third column all the rows from the second sorry 1 2 3 from third row to fifth row all 3 rows are merged. Similarly we have to merge this second 2 rows here, 1 column and then 1 row. So even if we are merging, we are maintaining the symmetry. So here 4 rows are merged, so here 3 rows are merged. We have to take care of this thing, like how many rows are merged and how many columns are merged. Okay, so let's see how we can execute everything whatever we have seen so far in this lecture in HTML5. So in this file we have included all these list and table structure together. So we can see that we have started with, we are following all the HTML structure throughout this file, and first thing we have included the list tag, unordered list here. So in the right side of the view you can see that this is the output and the bullet are coming in square. So if I change it to circle, so you can see this circle bullet is coming. So if I change it to disk, which is the default bullet, so it will come like this. Okay, so this is unordered list. For the order list, suppose I will start this one, so 1 2 3 4, this sequence is coming. So if I change it to capital A, so it will come, sorry I have to type, provide type capital. So you see this capital A bulletin is coming. Okay. Now if I provide small a, then small a b c d, like wise the bullet will come. Now if I change to Roman I, then you see what this Roman 1 2. So I can make it capital also. Capital I, so capital Roman 1, Roman 2, like that. Okay, so this is all about order list. And previously, the previous example, what? Unordered list. So this way we can create different types of list. So we have to decide what kind of bullets we want. So according to that types of list tag we have to add. So let's come to a simple table. Okay. So if I don't include this border attribute, what will happen? Let's see. So this data is coming like that. Okay. So data is there, but we cannot make a difference which row, which column. So that's why border is important. Okay. So what is one? This is the width of the border. So I can increase the width. So you see the width is changing. The more you provide, the large the width will become. So it is better to keep it one. So in this example, what I have done, we have created one first row, that is heading. In the heading, we will see the using the th, the text become bold. In the next following rows, we have created, I think, 1 2 3 rows, and for each row, two table division, that is two columns are there. So I have to include two table division here. And in this case also two division, because I have to maintain the symmetry. Now suppose I want to add one more row, so I can add like this. One row I am creating, then two table division I have to create. Suppose 122, 132. So you see these two new values, they are added. So in this way, how many cells you want, how many rows you want to create, just you keep adding, and that many table will come. In coming lecture video, we'll see that using JavaScript we can dynamically create these tables also. Okay. For the following example, we have seen in the presentation that this structure we have to create. So first we need to calculate how many rows, how many tables are there. So according to that, we have created, this is 4 columns we have. So that has been included in table header. This headers like that. So in the subsequent rows, we have to do everything. Now one thing you have to point out, note down here, that all the row span and column span attributes applicable to table division, not in a table row. So you have to very cautious about whenever you are using this row span and column span. So what we have done here, row span for the second row, I have used row span in the first column. Okay, so because the first column here it is being merged. Okay, so 4 I have to merge 4 because the first header, first row is used for header. So span rows. Okay, and for the first row 3 columns are merged. Okay, so first row is complete. Second row, I don't need to think about the first column. I need to think about the second to fourth columns. So in the fourth, the second and third column are merged, so that I have using this number. See, these numbers is important. That numbers tells the browser that we have to merge two consecutive rows, the columns. Okay. So in a second table division, two rows are merged, so I have to use 3 rows. Okay, rows and trees. Okay. Now, so here 3 rows are merged, the last row. So it is 3. For the fourth row, two. I have to take care about this row span 2, so this row 2 span, and the last is normal column. Okay, and the last row I have to write only this column because all these columns are merged, so I need to provide only this information. So that's it. Okay, so after writing this whole thing, I will get this output like this. So one thing we should conclude from this example, that whenever we want to create table like this, we have to be very calculative about how many rows, how many columns we need actually, and exactly at which place we have to merge. So in this case, that we have already merged so many rows, so only so many rows and columns, so in the last column I have to include only one TD. So this kind of consideration is very much important when we are going to create table like this. So thank you everyone for your patience, and in the next lecture we will come with different tags. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video, so stay tuned, and also do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.